it seems like anytime you come out with any form of reasoning, the fans don't take too well to it. And I mentioned to David, like the toe incident, like granted, your toe really was like an issue for you, but no one wants to hear that. What do you think of Deontay Wilder saying that he doesn't consider Tyson Fury, the current WBC champion, as they still have another fight?
I find it it's a little odd, because obviously, just everyone can see Wilder was a champion, Fury beat him, now Fury's a champion. So I think credit where it's due, and we have a new champion, which is Tyson Fury. So Wilder's a straight up guy, anyways. He's quite straight up, and he was a great champion. And then there is a third fight, but I think he should maybe a little bit more respect to Fury, because he is a champion now.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that it can come off a certain way, like when people do?
Yeah, I think when people say,
like sometimes best just say that he was a better man on the night.
Yeah, I think you might say it in a way that your intention wasn't the way that people are seeing it, but people take it differently. And so I think it's just best, after a fight or after a loss, just to accept it and move on, because there's nothing much you can do about it. You can't change it. It's already happened. Mm-hmm. The Dillian Whyte fight, he says he had a broken hand and broken rib. You get checked by the doctor before a fight. And if you're not feeling well, then you should tell the doctor. Mm-hmm. For that fight, I flew from New Zealand to LA to London, did the press conference, flew, 2 days in London. I went to London, LA, Vegas. I was messed up for 3 or 4 weeks in training camp. But I didn't tell anyone or complain. It's just part of the process and part of the leading into the fight, and you got to accept it.
Mm-hmm. Who of the three, because the reason why I mentioned the three is because it seems like it's going to be those three that are going to end up fighting. Obviously, we know we have the rematch between Tyson and Deontay. We have AJ versus Pulev next. But should it end up being the three that we're thinking, which is, Joshua,
Tyson, and
Deontay,
Wilder.
Who reigns, in your opinion?
Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just from what he's the display, he can box and move, and he can avoid being hit, and then he can also stand there and fight, and he can chase you down, and that's what we saw. I think a lot of people didn't believe what he said before the fight. I want to put him on the back foot, and I want to chase him down and knock him out, but because people haven't seen that side of him, or people haven't seen him do that in a fight.
I know you guys are mates, but would you ever fight him?
I wanted to fight him, just to test myself against the person who I think is the best in our era. Mm-hmm. But I think he doesn't see me as an opponent, or he doesn't see me as one of those fights that he's going to have before he retires. So,
do you think he's really retiring in the next 3 fights?
I don't think so.
You know why? He told me in one interview, he's like, I'm not retiring until I'm 40. What else am I going to do with my life? And I'm like, and then the next time I interviewed him, he's like, I got 3 fights left. I'm like, no, I don't believe you.
We just don't know. He's very he's unpredictable.
Yeah.
He can say this and say that, but we just don't know what he actually has planned. So
yeah, I know that there's a lot of backlash that can come with fighters trash talking. I wouldn't label you a trash talker at all. If anything, you're very there's 2 parties in this, right? There's the yous, and then there's the Dillian Whytes and Tyson Furies, where all they do is trash talk. Do you find that it's good for the sport when people do trash talk, or do you actually find it to be detrimental, it gives it a bad rap?
I think boxing is a gentleman's sport. But I think with the trash talking and everything that goes on, it just attracts attention. Mm-hmm. It's entertainment for some of it's real, and I don't know if some of it might not be real, but I don't know. I think it makes the sport entertaining, and it's everyone is unique in how they approach a fight and how they handle it and how they, what they say.
Yeah, I personally like when tables are thrown and chairs are flying.
Yeah.
I just I've always been drawn to, when Mike Tyson would always just trash talk. I love that so much. And Floyd Mayweather trash talk.
I love it as well. I love it as well, but I can't do it. Like it's not in me.
A lot of people are doing a bit of crossovers at the moment. Some are considering MMA, UFC, others WWE. Is there anything that you would like to sort of cross over into? Anything at all?
Table tennis.
What?
Ping pong, table tennis. Nah, listen, UFC is too dangerous for me. Kickboxing, I wouldn't do it. Probably, I don't know, golf.
Oh,
Something less physical. I mean, without any punching and kicks, something that you can. I mean, they still work very hard, but
yeah.
that's a lot of it's a mental game and also a thinking game. So I find it'll help mentally.
Yeah. Well, you're thinking more so of a hobby.
Probably a hobby, yeah.
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 So aside from boxing, there's no other sort of physical sport you would consider?
Nah, not really. No, not really. Nah.
Fair enough.
Boring.
Who would you consider to be the best of our era? And that could be in any weight category.
The best in our era. Ooh. I'm a fan of the heavyweight, so it'll have to be a heavyweight. It'll be Fury. Fury and myself, very close.
Of course, you gotta have that confidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
What's a fight? What's a dream fight for you? I know 2020 looks really terrible at the moment, but if we could get, as a fight fan yourself, like, what fight would you like to see be made?
Yeah, I want to see Fury and Joshua. That's the fight I want to see. A lot of, yeah.
Okay.
Just want to see the one person who's going to, rule in the division. That'll be the fight that I want to see. I think, and not only me, there's everyone else that wants to see that fight happen, because you have two champions, and see who the ultimate champion is. He's a unified champion.
So we know that Alexander Usyk is now mixing it up with you guys. Potential opponent one day for you. Based on his first performance, what do you have to say? What do you think?
I think it was a good welcoming fight for him in the heavyweight division. It wasn't his best performance. We've seen a lot better from him in the cruiserweight division. And he's a fighter with a lot of skill and a lot of technique, and very skilled fighter. And I think that was a good welcoming fight. So the real test is when he fights Chisora, how he's going to look, how he's going to do, and that'll be. I think everyone's eyes will be on him at that time. So
who do you see winning that fight? Because it's an interesting matchup, isn't it?
Very interesting. For me, Chisora is one of those fighters who's, it's like he's had this resurrection of his career. He went from being the man, then sort of went down. Now he's gone up again, and he's captured everyone's attention. Everyone in the UK love him. They want to see him fight, and because he's just one of those fighters who just comes forward and takes it to everyone. I think I have to side with Usyk, just because of the skill. I'm not sure if he just sort of able to catch him.
Do you feel that Usyk? Because it looks like hopefully by 2021 we should have one champion, right? Lord willing. Do you think Usyk has the chance? Like, do you see him having the ability and the talent enough to beat the likes of like Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua?
I don't know.
He's significantly smaller. Not to say that size has everything to do with it. We know that's not always the case. But do you think that he has what it takes to dethrone either one of them?
That's a hard one for me to decide. I don't know. Probably not. Listen, I want to fight him. I think I can beat him. So just it's interesting times, because there's so many good fights that can be made.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't like this even just 3 years ago, so it's pretty great.
Yeah, no, it's good. It makes it a lot more exciting.
I want to know, like, when I get asked this question, I don't always have the answer to it. I know it's terrible. I should, but I'm going to ask it to you and see what you have to say. Who is Joseph Parker?
Who is Joseph Parker? Ooh.
Right?
Uh,
It's a tough one. I'm always like,
I'm known for being a fighter, boxer, but I think the person is a good family man,
mhm,
or yeah, a good family man who loves his parents, and a good father.
mhm.
I think that's first and foremost, and then boxing and everything else comes
Yeah.
after that.
Tell us something that people don't really know about you. Like, is there a hobby, things that, I don't know, anything that we may not know about you aside from boxing?
I mean, what do I do? I love fishing. My as a young boy, my dad taught me how to take the boat out and go fishing. And probably at the age of 13, 14, I started taking people out myself, you
Hmm.
know, on the boat, and I could, navigate and go. I know exactly where to go. What else? I like to eat raw fish straight out of the water. Pick it up, bite the head, and then eat it like that.
Really?
Um, yeah, yeah.
I'd be
One day I
terrified,
should show you.
like one of the little bones stuck in my, because I try to eat it like just as is, like slightly,
Yeah,
obviously slightly cooked, but it's hard to eat fish that way.
just catch it and then bite the head, and then it stops, and then
Are you
I'll
serious?
send you a video the next time it happens.
Okay.
Serious, yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that.
Yeah, okay, I'll show you. And then, what else? That's pretty much it. And young age, my dad taught me how to fix cars, and he taught me many things. And obviously, and got me involved in boxing. So I'm very close to my family, and I've learned a lot over the years. And what else is there? And I can count. I can still say my name, so I haven't been punched in the head a lot too many times.
That's always a good sign.
Yeah.
Lastly, I want to know, what was it particularly that inspired you to go into the sport of boxing? Because I always joke and say that you kind of have to have a few screws loose to get into
Yeah,
boxing, to take on a career where you're hit in the head for a living.
yeah. Oh, I maybe I have screws loose. I don't know. My dad's name is Dempsey. He's named after Jack Dempsey, the
Yeah.
champion from back in the day. So he always loved boxing. Couldn't box himself. Disability, or as a baby, someone stood on his leg, so one leg is smaller than the other leg.
Uh,
And he introduced myself and my brother to boxing, and then we fell in love with boxing at a young age. And then I got to the point where I was fighting as an amateur, and I was getting one fight, probably got hit too many times. And my dad said, "Hey, son, you shouldn't, you should stop boxing. If you're going to get hit a lot." And I said, "Dad, it's too late. I already love the sport, got a passion for it, and you either support me or don't watch." So he's been a very supportive father and comes to all my fights. And boxing blessed me because I can, I can travel the world, but I can also take my parents with me everywhere. They've been all over the world, and it's a blessing.
mhm. But to also be, like, represent New Zealand the way that you have, because correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the first world champion out of New Zealand, correct?
First world champ. I think there was a champion, Marcelino Masoi. I think he was a welterweight.
Okay.
Samoan fighter. But then also David Tua was very close to being a champion. I think he knocked out 4 world champions, but he wasn't champion himself.
Great.
So I'm the first heavyweight world champion.
And how has the country embraced you? How's that been like?
They've been very supportive, and they still following my career, and they're still hoping that I become 2-time world champion or unified champion. So New Zealand and Samoa have been very good to me.
When you do that, they need to make a Joseph Parker Day.
if I become unified
Or
champion,
name a street after you, Joseph Way or Joseph Parker
or
Way.
or change my street name.
Yeah, there you go. Oscar De La Hoya did that when he lived up in Big Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was around. He was a good fighter. He was a great fighter, actually.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I appreciate you sitting and speaking with me. I know the time difference. I'm glad it worked out because I know it's early morning there. It's going into mid-afternoon here. What else? Do you have anything you want to say? Is there anything at all? Maybe a message to anybody?
Just a message would be, for for everyone at this time to stay positive and stay safe. And remember, the most important thing is to have fun. I
Yeah.
know life is too short to be miserable or to be down. So even though we're in this situation, let's find the positive thing about it and have some fun.
I completely agree with that. I'll tell you one thing. I felt like I've always appreciated my family a lot because I'm very close with them as well. But this is like next level, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just like it really
yeah.
puts things into perspective and to not take a single day for granted. And I think we're living in that every single day. So if there's a lesson to be learned throughout the world, it's to be appreciative and grateful for the moment.
Make the most of every day and show appreciation.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play, so make sure you go and download that. Bye Fight fans.